What's good, everybody? It's your boy JTL, Opposite from the Norm. And real quick, I just want to let y'all know about Opposite from the Norm apparel t-shirts. Brought to you by GFAM G-Wear. You like our show and our content? Then go to gfament.com and click on G Store, and there you can purchase an Opposite from the Norm t-shirt. Also, you can check out other great tees that represent true kings and true queens as well. Shirts that motivate and make you feel great. Once again, that's gfament.com and click on the G Store link to get your apparel tees. Now back to the show. Chill! Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy JTL, Opposite from the Norm, back with another sports wrap up for y'all with my boy HD. With his late ass. Hello, are you there?
I'm here, Holmes. I had to wait till you got through talking, my man.
I stopped for like 18 seconds. See them late D. So we gonna go ahead and wrap up the sports for y'all. He late on coming in and on the day because we both did the 2 days though. But we're gonna let him go
Hey,
ahead
man.
and wrap it up. So y'all make sure y'all like, share, comment. Make sure you hit the subscribe and hit them thumbs up. Go ahead, H.
All right, so like my man said, we're gonna hit y'all up with a little sports review. I'm gonna start with baseball. Definitely gotta speak on that, being that we're in the state of Florida, as the Rays, Tampa Bay Rays, have made it to the World Series. They'll be facing off with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Well, they've already started. The Rays got here by defeating the Houston Astros 4-3 in the ALCS, and the Dodgers made it out of the NL by defeating the Atlanta Braves 4-3. Unfortunately, for all the Rays fans, they lost the first game of the World Series. They lost it 8-3, giving up 10 hits to the Dodgers. However, they will get a chance to redeem themselves on tonight. We recording this show around 7. The game is due to kick off at 8:08. So right now, the Rays are down 1-0 to the Dodgers, but hopefully they'll be able to pull this one off tonight. And that game starts once again at 8:08 on Fox. So that was a little bit of baseball. Now we're going to go over to college football. Give y'all a little wrap up on that from week 7. The number one team is still Clemson. They moved to 5-0, and they're 4-0 in the ACC. Get this. They beat Georgia Tech. Now, I know Georgia Tech is not a football power at all, but listen to this score. 73-7. Georgia Tech only managed to muster one touchdown in this entire game, which happened in the first quarter, and Clemson rattled off 73 points. I feel like at some point they should have called in a mercy rule, because that when I first went over and looked at the score, I thought that maybe I was a little bit too drunk or something, but it was 73-7. Trevor Lawrence threw for 404 yards against Georgia Tech, including 5 touchdowns. Ridiculous. Alabama, which is the number 2 team, improved to 4-0, which they're 4-0 in the SEC. All 4 of their games have been in conference, of course, due to this COVID. And they defeated the number 3 team in the country, Georgia, 41-24. That game was a little bit closer. I was able to pick up some of the second half of that game. In my opinion, it was a little bit closer than what the score indicates, because Alabama, ended up winning by 17 points. But you can see that Alabama had a more well-rounded offense than Georgia. The number 4 team, Notre Dame, they were able to, excuse me here, having some technical difficulties as we always do. They're moving to 4-0. They defeated Louisville 12-7, very low-scoring game. But Notre Dame was able to move to 4-0, staying undefeated. Most likely they'll be hopping up to the number 3 spot, with Georgia getting their first loss of the season. The number 5 team closing out the top 5, North Carolina, suffered their first loss of the year, moving down to 3-1. They lost to Florida State 31-28. Um, Florida State has been down the last couple of years, so it was very, very shocking and surprising to see them be able to pull out this win over North Carolina, but I guess they had their number. Another team in the top 25 went down, which was Auburn. They lost 30-22 to South Carolina. That isn't much of a shock. They're two SEC teams. I was able to pick up some of that game. Auburn tried to come back at the end, but they were unsuccessful. South Carolina's defense stifled them at the end of the fourth quarter. So that bumps Auburn down to 2-2 and also 2-2 in the SEC. So with being 2-2, Auburn may tumble all the way out of the top 25. If not, they may hang on right at the edge of 25. We had two of the games postponed. We had number 7 Oklahoma State, who was supposed to face off against Baylor. That game was postponed. Number 8 Cincinnati, they were supposed to face off against Tulsa. That game was postponed. And also for us here in the state of Florida, the Florida Gators, which are the number 10 team in the nation, they were supposed to face off against LSU, and that game was postponed as well. Moving over to the big boys in the NFL, I'm going to run through these real quick and also give you my opinion on some of the bigger games and throw a little bit of stats at you as well. We had the Tennessee Titans winning 42-36 over the Houston Texans. That was a real entertaining game. That game went to overtime. Derrick Henry, who they're calling King Henry right now, who is, in my opinion, the best running back in the entire league. He has been over the last couple years. Carried the ball 22 times for 212 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was pretty much dominant in this game, as he is in pretty much all of the games that he's been in. Definitely earning that big-time contract that he has. He's leading the NFL in rushing right now with 588 total rushing yards for the year, moving the Tennessee Titans to 5-0, 3-0 at home. In the next game, we had the Colts defeating the Bengals 31-27. Phillip Rivers still looking old out there, making some terrible mistakes, but he was able to pull this out over the rookie, Joe Burrow. Phillip Rivers did end up throwing for 3 touchdowns, but there have been some analysts saying that maybe they should be taking him out for Jacoby Brissett, because the Colts do have one of the top defenses in the entire league. And actually right now they're number 3 in total defense. They're only giving up 288 yards a game and only 19 points per game. So some people have been questioning if the Colts should make their quarterback change so they won't squander their season. But they moved to 4-2, 3-0 at home. We have the Falcons picking up their first win of the year over the Minnesota Vikings, 40-23. That was just a game of two teams that are pretty much going nowhere. Kirk Cousins had another stinker game for the Vikings, but Matt Ryan was able to throw for 371 yards and 4 touchdowns. The Vikings do have one bright spot. Their rookie wide receiver, Justin Jefferson from LSU, had 9 catches for 166 yards and 2 touchdowns. It looks like they found a great young wide receiver to replace Stephon Diggs, who went over to Buffalo. This young man in his rookie year has been looking real good out there. On to the Broncos and Patriots. The Broncos pulled that out 18-12 over the New England Patriots. I really wanted the Patriots to pull this game out, but, this was Cam Newton's game back from being out for a little bit regarding the COVID. Didn't get that much practice time. And also the New England Patriots just have nobody at receiver. They have what some people call the worst receiving core in the league, and I agree. They even had to resort to doing a couple gimmick plays where they had their wide receiver trying to throw passes to Cam Newton just to move the ball. So that really lets you know that the Patriots need to do something at the receiver spot, because they have no weapons for Cam, and I would hate to see him get disparaged again at the end of the year if the Patriots end up not making the playoffs, and they try to blame everything on Cam, which it should not be. And that's the reason why Tom Brady left, because the Patriots have, as many say, the worst receiving core in the entire league. He doesn't even have any good, legit tight ends to throw to either. So he's kind of out there just trying to win it on his own. So the Patriots fall to 2-3. The New York Giants picked up their first win of the year, moving to 1-5 against the Washington football team. They won that one 20-19. There's really not much to talk about from that game. Another game where it's two teams going pretty much nowhere. The Giants are even thinking about if they should draft another quarterback in next year's draft, because their quarterback right now, Daniel Jones, does not look like the quarterback of the future. Um, the Baltimore Ravens put out a win 30-28 over the Eagles, pushing the Eagles down to 1-4-1 on the year. They had the 1-4-1 being that they had a tie earlier in the year. The Ravens moved to 5-1. Their defense still looking good. Their offense still looking like a well-oiled machine. So they're going to keep pushing down the road. We had the Steelers moving to 5-0, still undefeated, 4-0 at home over the Browns. This was supposed to be a big game. This was supposed to be the showcase game for the Browns to step out and show that they were not a fluky team, and they fell on their face as usual. The Pittsburgh Steelers just played their type of game. Roethlisberger had 162 passing yards, one touchdown. Their running back, James Conner, 20 carries for 101 yards, and their defense just continued looking like the smothering defense they've been all year. The Pittsburgh defense through these first 6 games is number 2 in total defense in the entire league behind the Bucks. Pittsburgh only giving up 285 yards per game and only giving up 66 yards rushing per game. So the Steelers just manhandled the Browns. Baker Mayfield left the game as well. He wasn't doing that much anyway when he was in there. They weren't able to get the ball to Odell Beckham. Some of the analysts have said that he's starting to do his whining and pouting on the sideline that he's been accustomed to doing when he's not getting the ball. In this instance, I can't really blame him because Baker Mayfield is just not the answer. He can't really scramble. He thought because he could do that in college that he could get away with that in the pros. He's just not fast enough. He's not fast enough to get around the edge. His arm is just not strong enough. So looks like the Browns may be coming to a tough decision on what to do quarterback spot. The Bears moved to 5-1, 3-0, undefeated at home as they defeated the Carolina Panthers 23-16. Moving on, the Lions able to get their second win of the year, 34-16 over the Jacksonville Jaguars. On to the later games that they had on Sunday. The Miami Dolphins, another team, state of Florida, moved to 3-3, winning 24-0 over the New York Jets, who fall to 0-6 on the year. The Jets are the team that many are talking about maybe up for the number 1 pick in the draft. They look like it. They have pretty much nothing going on. They have no impact players on offense. Their defense looks terrible. They just released Le'Veon Bell. He went over to the Kansas City Chiefs, so they really don't have any type of name players on offense at all, outside of their quarterback, and even he's not looking really good right now. The Dolphins also announced this week that they're going to be handing over the reins of the starting quarterback position over to the rookie, Tua Tagovailoa from Alabama. He came in later in the game, had 2 completions, so looks like they're going to go ahead and make that move now because they have a bye week coming up and they can get him transitioned for the next game. Hometown Bucks moved to 4-2 on the year, 3-0 at home by defeating the previously undefeated Green Bay Packers 38-10. Brady threw the ball 17 for 27, 166 yards, 2 touchdowns. They got a big game from Ronald Jones, 113 rush yards, 2 touchdowns. And their defense really, really looked good. I knew that their defense was good, but I did not know that they were number 1 in the NFL right now in total defensive stats, only giving up 282 yards per game, and only allowing 20.3 points per game. Their defense looked really good. They picked off Aaron Rodgers twice in the game, took back to the house. So their defense is looking really good. So they have some things to build on. Their defense really has surprised me. Their front four is looking really good. Their linebackers are flying around. So maybe even if old man Tom Brady can't go out there and look super every week, their defense can help them pull off some games. The late game, which was a heartbeat game for me, being that my 49ers were involved, they really surprised me. I thought they were going to lose this game, but they pulled it off 24-16. They defeated the Rams, moving my 49ers to 3-3 on the year. Garoppolo, our quarterback, who I'm not too fond of, threw for 268 yards and 3 touchdowns. He looked okay. I still don't trust him all the way.
Man, you
He
from New
has
York. You supposed to like the Giants, man.
listen. The first team that I saw when I was 3 years old was the 49ers.
Trade
That's
them.
been my team. That's been my team ever since. I can't hop ship and jump all around. I've stuck with them through thick and thin, through the Montana years, and then through all their bad years with Alex Smith. Um, I rode with them when they had Kaepernick, even though they fucked my boy over. But that's another story for another day. But right now they moved to 3-3. Um, like I said, this was a real surprising win. I'm glad that they got it. Hopefully, we can still try to contend for a playoff spot this year. However, we're basically in the toughest division in football with the Seahawks, the Rams, and the Cardinals all looking real good. The Cardinals, who I'm going to get to, they're at 4-2. The Rams are 4-2. Seattle leads that division, so we have an uphill climb, but hopefully some things can work out for us. So finally, we had two games on Monday. In the first game, the Chiefs defeated the Bills 26-17, moving the Chiefs to 5-1. What a lot of people were surprised by was how much Kansas City ran the ball. They're not a big running team. Their coach, Andy Reid, is not known as someone who likes to run the ball, but they gave it to their rookie, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He ran the ball 26 times for 161 yards, and I watched most of this game off and on, and they just mostly just controlled the game by running the ball. Mahomes threw the ball when he had to. He was very efficient. He was 21 for 26 for 225 yards, but they mostly just ran it down the Bills' throat, and the Bills fall to 4-2. And finally, a game that really, really, really made me smile, really, really made me happy. The Cowboys falling again, dropping to 2-4 in the year. Terrible, gross, disgusting team that they are. They lost to the Cardinals 38-10. They had the Arizona same thing, running all over them. Kenyon Drake, the starting running back for the Cardinals, ran for 164 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kyler Murray, the quarterback, was skit-scatting all over the field on them. Andy Dalton had to throw the ball 54 times in this game, which is ridiculous, being that they're paying who is supposedly the best running back in the NFL, Ezekiel Elliott, all this money. He fumbled the ball twice early on in the game. Just looked terrible. Their defense continuing to be one of the worst defenses in the entire league. Right now, they're in the bottom half of defenses, giving up 410 yards a game and giving up 36 points a game. Just terrible. All these people that walk around when I go to the barbershop, hopping and hooting about the Cowboys, this, the Cowboys, that. When you see all these people with the Cowboys hats, they're going to the Super Bowl. Every year is the same thing. Every year they pay people a lot of money. They gave a lot of money, as I said, to a running back, Ezekiel Elliott. They paid a lot of money to the receiver, Amari Cooper. They drafted a receiver in the first round, focusing all on offense. They gave some money to DeMarcus Lawrence on defense. Where has he been through 6 games? He has 0 sacks on the year. The secondary is just deplorable. So this makes me real happy. All the Cowboys fans, you can eat it. 2-4. However, they may be able to skate into the playoffs because their division is so terrible in the way that the NFL has it set up. There's going to be a team from each division going into the playoffs, which I don't agree with. So the Cowboys can end up 6-10 with a losing record, number one in their division, still make the playoffs with a losing record. That's disgusting. The NFL needs to change their rules. But I'm glad the Cowboys lost. They can eat it. And there were 4 teams who had a bye week who didn't play: the Raiders, the Saints, the Chargers, and the Seahawks. All right, so that's going to wrap up my week review of sports. I'm going to hit y'all again next week with some more opinions, some more stats, some more facts. So this your man HD. Make sure like the video. I'm out. Peace.